Hello and welcome to Amy Loses It. So, in today's episode of Can Amy Screw Up Her Shot Again? I'm going to attempt to show you doing a shot of Zepbound using an insulin needle and a single-use vial in my right arm. Now, I am right-handed, so this is going to be interesting. Now, I have in the previous 2 weeks given myself a shot in the back of my left arm using my right hand, and I did really well with that. I found a way to just kind of prop up my arm and be able to get to the back of it with no problems. So I'm going to attempt to do my right arm today, just in an effort to mix up my shot areas. Now, I'm not doing it because I think that I'm going to get better weight loss, I'm going to get better absorption, or anything is going to change about me and my weight loss because I'm moving my shot. I just had a bunch of followers that were encouraging me to mix up where I'm doing my injections. So I did the left arm the past 2 weeks, so I'm going to do the right arm before I switch back to doing my just general stomach area, which is where I always do my injection. But I will probably never ever be trying my thighs. I actually kind of have skinny chicken legs that I got from my dad, and there's not a lot of fat on the top of my thighs, and so I really don't want to risk getting it into a muscle. And then also, I usually go over my weigh-in live on my Amy Loses It live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But this upcoming week, I'll actually be in Orlando, Florida at the Obesity Action Coalition's conference called Your Weight Matters. So it's pretty exciting. I'm going to get to meet a lot of you out there in YouTube land, as well as Christopher and Lorraine Durham from The Downsize, as well as Dr. Anya Yasterboff, who wrote the book Enough, who has been a leading researcher from Yale University into the disease of obesity. So I'm super excited to hear her speak. And we're going to go over shot 74, week 81. I can't believe I have gotten that far in my weight loss journey. Pretty much the 1.5 years at this point in time. I started January 1st, 2025 at 304 pounds. And it was crazy town being that way. I can't tell you how much better I feel now that I have lost so much weight. Just some stats about me if you're new around these parts. I am only 5 foot tall. I am 52 years old. I am a divorcee, and I live with myself and 3 cats that are actually behaving today. And really, my goal in life is to just enjoy life. I was becoming immobile at 304 pounds, and I was seeing my health start to decline. I was starting to get really big warning signs that I knew would lead to extensive health problems. But we all go to the doctor and we say, oh, well, we're having this issue and this issue and that issue. And they're like, oh, we'll just lose weight and it'll go away. And we're like, oh, but I've tried that and I've tried that and I've tried it and I've tried it some more. The weight's not going away. The symptoms aren't going away. My health's not getting any better. What the freak are we supposed to do? And thank goodness I discovered Zepbound and started taking it, because truly most of the problems that I've had when I've gone to the doctor have really gone away. And I attribute that obviously to the weight loss. But when you go to the doctor and the only tool that they hand you is saying, oh, we'll lose weight, then it leads you to kind of have no hope, because you've tried that over and over and over and over again. So we kind of get in this vicious cycle and we lose hope in life. And I was have been so thankful that when I started this journey in January, that by mid-February, I was able to get Zepbound, and then I was able to continually lose weight for the majority of the time. Now, I did get stuck very recently for about 12 weeks, but I didn't gain any weight, which is fabulous, right? I mean, how many times have we gotten stuck on a weight loss journey and then just ended up gaining a whole bunch of weight back? No, I actually managed to maintain, and I finally started losing again because I moved up to 15 milligrams of Zepbound. So here's an individual vial, and this is what I'm going to be injecting today. Is this little teeny tiny bit of medicine. See that? Little tiny bit. This is what I pay a little over $100 for. I'm gonna inject all of that meds. And if you haven't seen how it comes, so I just get this little box And usually there's like 4 little vials sitting in it. I mean, it's a lot of packaging for 4 little vials, right? Like they're they're really tiny, but this is how like the individual vials come. And then you have to have needles or syringes like this. This one is 100 milliliters. I think is what it's called. 100 units, it's 1 milliliter total. I'm going to take 0.5 milliliters, or honestly, I'm just going to take whatever's in the vial because it is already pre-measured for me. So this goes up to 100 units. I don't know what gauge this is offhand, but I think it's like 32 or 33. So it's a very fine needle, super, super sharp. I just got these from the pharmacy. I think I paid about $9 for 10 of them, which is expensive. But in my state, I don't really have a choice because they do restrict who can purchase them and where you can get them. So, you know, unfortunately, the pharmacies charge a lot of money. So actually, let's try to do the shot first, and then I'll do my weigh-in results. I'm a little bit excited because I was stuck for so long that the 3 previous weeks, so when I went up to 15 and when I decided to start limiting my calorie intake to 1,200 calories per day, I know, look, it's extreme, but like I had to figure something out. And that worked. So I don't know if it was one or the other or the combination of both, but the other 3, like this is my 4th vial. So the other 3 weeks that I took 15 milligrams, I have lost weight. I lost a total of 5 pounds, which is kind of, I went back and looked and it was more than like the past like 4 months combined. Absolutely crazy. So I'm just like over the moon. That I've been able to eat within my calorie zone and that the medication seems to be working really well. So let me get myself prepared. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to wipe off the back of my arm here with an alcohol pad to kind of sanitize that. And then I usually just like to take the rest of the alcohol wipe and wipe my fingers. Now, the first thing I actually really did before I sat down was I washed my hands. So I'm going to try and be really good about not getting my arm on anything. I'm going to take my little vial and I'm going to pop the lid off. And it takes a little bit of effort. And then I'm going to pull out another alcohol pad. And then you just want to clean that gray dot there, because that's where you're going to insert the needle. And you're going to get it right in the middle in the target. I usually do clean the whole metal piece, but you do want to make sure that you're getting that gray seal there, and because you're going to put the needle right in the middle of this. Now it should go in pretty easy as long as you have sharp needles. I previously in some of my other videos did not have sharp needles and it did not go well. Actually, the last time I did this on camera, I bent my needle. Okay, so I'm just going to take a second to think about this because I always rush through it because you want to, the manufacturer's instructions. So some people came at me that I didn't need to do this, but I must just set this down for a second. The manufacturer's instructions say you should put a bit of air in the syringe so you can inject this into the vial and it will allow you to displace the medication to pull it in much easier. So I made the mistake one time of going all the way up to 100. You don't want to do that. I'm just going up to like the halfway mark. I did 50 this time. So now, let's see if we can get this to focus. See that dot? That's where I'm going in the middle. And because I'm old and blind, it's hard to see. Ooh, that was kind of tough. Okay, so I just went right in the middle there, and then I'm going to tip this up. And man, I got that in there crooked. Oh, no, Amy. Okay, so now you put your air in slowly, but you don't put it in with the medicine around the needle, otherwise you'll froth it. You see how some of that got a bit frothy because I had some in the needle? Yeah, you don't want that. So put your air in when it's right side up. Okay, hold on. Make sure this is focusing. Okay, so now you're just going to draw it back kind of slowly. You don't want to really do it. You don't want to rush this. You don't want to do it fast. Oh man, you know what? Okay, hold on, folks, because this bent my needle, and it was the vial. Did it do it? No, it's not bent. Okay, I'm gonna do this again. You're not gonna be able to see this, but I gotta get this in straight. The plastic was so tough that the needle was sitting at an angle. Okay, so there we go. So this is working right this time. Okay, so I'm just pulling back gently, trying not to rush it. Just keep pulling, pulling, pulling. It is a little bit, you do get quite a bit of resistance from this. So I'm just gonna keep pulling. And technically you're supposed to stop at 0.5. See that 50 mark? But I am greedy and I want all this medication. But you can see that there's only so much medication that you can get out of it without getting a bunch of air. So I got to just a little at the 60 mark. And I'm just gonna push this back up just a smidge to get the air out. There we go. And then now, you just tap it a little bit to get the air to the top, and then just push it up ever so slightly. You see meds coming out, and it should be pushing the air out. But honestly, to be fair, even if you have a little bit of air in here, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. It's not going to injure you. From a medical professional, from my doctor, she said, don't worry if you get a little bit of air in there. Don't panic. Okay, so hold on. Let's see how. Okay, so I'm in focus now. So let's see how I can get you positioned. So hold please. Okay, so it's going to look a little weird, but I'm just going to lay my arm down on the table here. And so now I've got the back of my arm with all this fat, and I'm just going to clean it again with an alcohol wipe. And I have a cat who is poking me, which is inappropriate at the moment. So I'm using my left hand, and I'm going to try and get this in to that fat. There we go. Okay, I got it in. I know you can't see it that well. This is a little awkward. But I'm gonna hold the syringe by the little tabby thing, and I'm gonna just inject. I think the one thing that I've found with this is it's hard not to kind of push the needle against your skin, or the syringe against your skin. So just kind of gently push the plunger down, and just kind of gently do it, and then hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there we go. Okay, so I managed to do that using my left hand in the back of my right arm. I did not draw any blood. Oh, but I can taste it. Oh, see, I did this last week, and then I swore to myself I wouldn't do it again because I can taste the medication. I can smell it. Oh, okay. So that'll probably be one of the last times that I inject the Zepbound in the back of my arm, because it's a little unpleasant. It's not, I mean, look, the manufacturer gives instructions that we can use this spot. So I'm not worried about it being dangerous. But, I don't like the fact that I can smell and taste it. I'm not like getting a headache or I'm not like having any adverse reactions. I didn't last time either. I didn't have any issues at all. But yeah, I don't know why doing it right there. And I would think that if I hit a vein that I would have drawn blood. I don't know. Okay, so that is how you do a shot in your right arm using your left hand when you are right-handed. So that wasn't too bad, except where I had to take the needle out and reinsert it. When I went to put it in here, the seal was just really, really tough, and the needle went in at an angle, and I didn't want to risk bending it, because I did not actually this time, for once, I did not bend this needle. If you can see that, hold on. Focus, camera, focus. There we go. If you see this, I did not bend this needle. So, yay for Amy for once. Okay, so I'm going to put some slides up on the screen like I normally do when I'm doing my weigh-in on Thursdays on the live stream. So I'm going to start this time with a step count. Now, I will need to point out that on Monday, it shows that I only got 897 steps, but my watch battery died on my Apple Watch and I didn't have my phone with me. I think I probably got about 2,000 steps that day. So I don't know. I would say that my average then is probably like about like 3,200 an average per day. But you can see yesterday, Saturday, which is normally supposed to be my shot day, but I forgot to take my shot yesterday because I was hanging out with friends. I went to the mall and got 6,000 steps in, and non-scale victory. I walked from one end of the mall to the other end of the mall with no problems. I wasn't looking for a place to sit down. My feet didn't hurt. I wasn't out of breath. Last time I went to the mall with my niece, 3 months before I started my weight loss journey, and I was at my 304 pounds, I thought I was going to die when I was walking the mall because it does have a pretty significant hill. Even inside the mall, like you do kind of walk uphill one way and walk downhill the other. So I'm actually pretty pleased that I'm starting to get more steps on a daily basis. So while this doesn't look like anything fantastic to most people, I'm starting to get my daily steps, my minimum steps up every single day. So I'm really working on it. I'm really making an effort to make it a part of my day. Now for calorie tracking, my goal right now is to be at 1,200, and it says 1,201 calories. So I'm going to show you the basal metabolic rate that I pulled from Garnet Health. I think it's been working really well for me using this table, but I do have to say that I've had to kind of knock it down to little to no exercise as the level that I use, because before I was using light exercise 1 to 3 weeks, which is about an additional 300 calories per day. But then a viewer pointed out that they consider little to no exercise still about 5,000 steps per day. And I'm not getting that. So I'm going until I actually start getting my 7,500 steps 5 days a week. I'm going with little or no exercise, which to lose my 1.5 pounds per week, which is 3,500 calories, divide that by 7 and I take off 750 calories per day. So that's where I get like the 1,201 calories that I'm really aiming for each day as an average. I take an average of 7 days eating to get that 1,201. So that gives me a lot of leeway. If one day, like, Saturday, I went out with my friends and had dinner at Cheesecake Factory, I don't really worry about it as much. Like I can eat a 1,600 or 1,700 or 1,800 calorie day as long as like I'm compensating it within the rest of my calorie tracking week. Okay, so for calorie tracking for the past week, I did not get Saturday on here because I don't count Saturday in my weigh-in day because I do my weigh-in Saturday morning. I should have had the prior Saturday on there, but I didn't record calories that day because I took a vacation day from counting. But the days that I did record, I averaged 1,347 calories per day, which was still 1,029 calories over for the week, which is really not bad. If you do the math, that says that I should have still lost 1.2 pounds for the week instead of my 1.5. Now, my scale, to be fair, doesn't measure anything other than full pounds. So if I am, say for instance, 237.5, my scale's going to register 238. If I'm 237.4, it's going to register 237. So it's kind of, my scale gets a little wonky. I usually play this game of 1 pound 1 week, 2 pounds the next, 1 pound 1 week, 2 pounds the next, right? If I'm averaging the 1.5 pounds that I'm trying to lose. So I think I did really great for my calories. There were a couple days that I super struggled. I was having really bad hunger pains and was really super hungry. And I attributed that to that I was actually starting to eat a little breakfast snack every morning, which is something that I'd stopped for a long time because I really struggle when I eat in the morning. It makes me hungrier. So I have now stopped that breakfast snack, and all it was a 60-calorie chicken beef jerky stick, and then it was a fiber one bar of 150 calories. But I would eat that, and that would tide me over to lunch. I'd have my lunch, and then I'd have my dinner probably like 8 o'clock. But again, my dinner was only about 500 calories. And I'd get up in the morning and my stomach would be growling so bad and it'd be nonstop. But this past week, since I stopped that and have not been doing it, I'm fine making it all the way to lunchtime without my stomach growling like crazy town. And you're like, well, Amy, you probably should be eating 3 meals a day. And like, well, that's all well and good, but I don't want to have to deal with that extreme hunger for no reason. It's just because I was adding in the extra meal and eating 3 meals a day. So I don't want to have to deal with that. So I have stopped that. Okay, so it is time for the big reveal. So let's look at week 81, shot 74. So last week, July 11th, I weighed in at 237 pounds. Well, on July 18th, I weighed in at 236 pounds. So woo, woo, I lost a pound, which is unbelievable to me that it has been 4 weeks and I have lost 6 pounds, which is, I think, unbelievably amazing. And if we look at my weigh-in chart for the week, you can see I started the week on Sunday the 12th at 238 pounds. Then Monday I went up to 239 and I was really, really bummed, a little bit terrified. But then as the week went on, I always weigh in pretty much the lowest on Wednesday and Thursday. So Tuesday the 14th was 237, Wednesday the 15th was 236. I was really, really excited. And then Thursday threw me a bone with 235 on Thursday the 16th. But sadly, that didn't last because on Friday, the 17th, I weighed in at 237, and I almost shed a tear. But then I weighed in on Saturday the 18th, and I ended up at 236 for that morning. So I was super excited that I did actually, in fact, lose a pound. And so far, the scale has been right on track, maintaining that 236 for this week, and I couldn't be happier with my results. So I want to thank you so much for stopping in to check out my weigh-in and to see what it takes to do a shot with your non-dominant hand in the back of your arm. It really wasn't that difficult. I have to say the only thing I really didn't like was it was definitely more difficult to insert the needle into your skin. You had to push a little bit harder, and then it was a little hard to kind of hold the syringe and pull it back, or to press the plunger while holding the syringe and not like just jamming the syringe itself into your skin. So it does take a little bit of practice. I still think the stomach is way easier, and probably next week I'll go back to doing ring around the rosy with my belly button and doing my shots there for quite a while. So have a fabulous day and be on the lookout for my videos from the OAC's Your Weight Matters Conference.
4 cats, 1 scale, and a suitcase to pack. Zepbound in hand, there's no looking back. Cruising through this journey, non-scale victory's divine. But can Amy lose the weight without losing her mind?